First, we will take up the vaccine acquisition a little bit later. Secretary Galvez will make the report in simplified form. It's too complicated, actually, at this time. But we will report first on the government response sa Typhoon Ulysses Patiaroli, what we have done so far. But before I proceed any further, I would like to just give a caution to the Vice President. She made a blunder, a big one, and she practically lied, making her incapable of truth. Alam mo, yung pakana niya na wala ako sa Baguio, I was here. Dito, I was attending a summit, ASEAN summit yun. So virtual lang, palit-palit kami. We were talking sa electronic. Nandito ako noon. Kasagsagan ng bagyo dumaan dyan sa labas, nag-uusap kami dito. But right after, those on the second day, nung sinabi ko magnaan yung I will excuse myself from the signing of the documents for I have to make a survey sa damage. Hindi ako na sabihin anong gusto niyang mangyari kung saan ako, nasaan ang presidente. You know, I am sure that you should, you knew of the Asian summit going on, ASEAN, and that I was delivering the intervention, the statement of intervention for China as the China coordinator, ASEAN, China. And I was also making my own statement of how the ASEAN approved documents would impact on our economy later on. Hindi ako natutulog. Ganito yan, Vice President, makinig ka, ha? Hindi kasi siguro nakinig noon eh. Remember, kayong mga Pilipino, sinabi ko sa inyo, prangkahan, sa press conference, that I am a night person. I work on the state government documents sa gabi. And being a lawyer, hindi ako kagaya ng iba pag may initial na doon sa ibang opisina dumaan, napipirma ako. I am not that kind of person because you know, you are a lawyer, I'm a lawyer. So you have to be very careful. Ang sinabi ko sa mga tao, tatrabahuin ko yan sa gabi hanggang umaga. I want them to complete it because you cannot just finish it in 1 hour. But pirma lang, okay lang. But if you read, ibang istorya yan. So it will take time. Sometimes I sleep 4, 5, 6, 7, sometimes 8 pagka madalian. Ngayon, sinabi ko sa tao yan that I'm a night person, my day begins at 2. 2 o'clock hanggang sa gabi na walang limit. In cabinet meetings, ganun. Ikaw, cabinet member ka man sandali. Hanggang gabi na yan, maabot ng alas 2, alas 3 ng umaga. Cabinet meeting yan. Alam mo yan. Ngayon kung sabihin mo may emergency, natutulog ako sa umaga. Hindi ako natulog noon. Gising ako ng umaga because of the summit. And at the same time, I would go whisper to the military guys in the room of how was it developing and what was the reaction of our government people there and the resources. Hindi mo na kailangan orderin yan sila. Kasi 2 days before, deployed na yan sila doon po. Naman sa bodega na yan ng mga sa gobyerno. Naka-deploy na yan. Yung mga sundalo, pati nga yung sa Davao, yung security ko kinuha. Half of it, dinala dito. In anticipation dito sa typhoon. Sunod-sunod kasi. So, pag sinabi mong nasaan ako, I can ask the entire government machinery, foreign affairs. Nandito ako nagsasalita. While you were making calls to check ka, kunwari, alam mo yung mga military, hindi yung maniwala sa iyo because tama sila. You are not in the line of authority, basta gano'n. Wala kang times of emergency. Ang ako lang pati ang military. It's between me and military pagka-pulis. Yan lang sila kami mag-ano. No. Kung sa civilian, marami, kung hindi mo alam, puro military na ang humawak niyan. Halad, who is sa disaster talaga for the longest time, nandoon na yan. Rolly Bautista, former general sa army, nandoon na, nakapwesto na. He was absent here because he was there. DSWD siya, alam na niya. So lahat ng kailangan doon, nandoon na yung sa mga military, pati yung mga cabinet members. There was no need for you to make a very masamang biro na where were you? Kung sabihin ko tuloy sa iyo, what time did you go home? Ikaw, nung gabi, anong oras ka umuwi? Isang bahay ka lang ba? 2 bahay ka? Tatanong lang ako. Kasi congressman ka. Ba't kaninong bahay ka natagalan? Ano ang sabihin ko sa iyo? Huwag ka masyadong purma-purma. Hindi mo talaga panahon. Hindi mo pa panahon. Not time to be making a grandstanding coming up with it. Hindi ninyo alam na nagtatrabaho ako na timingan na ito si summit and I cannot excuse you for not knowing it. You knew that there was a summit going on. And you had the goal to say, nasaan ang presidente? Kasi alam mo, siguro Baguio, I could not make myself available. But, you know, kung yan ang paradigm mo sa pagtingin mo sa presidente, sabi mo, nasaan ka, presidente? The storm was all over Luzon. Saan mo ako gustong ilagay noon? Sa inyo, sa Bicol, sa bahay ninyo, sa Naga? O dito ako sa Parañaque? May baha rin eh. So where were you? Hindi na kailangan ako mag-order at mag-order ka pa on the day. God, you are presuming that I should be giving orders on the day of the storm. That is stupid. That is why you cannot become a president, really. Mahina ka eh. Wala ka nang ibigay order kasi ang order na ibigay na 2 or 3 days. You do not give orders on the day of the war. Patay ka. So, I hate to say this, but kung gano'n ka, huwag kang magtakbo ng preso. Talagang mahina ka. You do not know, and then you lied. You were not honest. Isa pa yan. When you, alam mo may summit going on. ASEAN summit. And I was giving the longest speech there because I was the intervention in the plenary. Yun ang totoo dyan. Kaya ako lumipad doon sa Bicol. Inunahan mo ako pa kunwari. But do not compete with me. And do not start a quarrel with me. Kasi ikaw, wala ka talagang nagawa. Except yung mga tawag-dawag. Tawag ka kunwari, nasaan na yung mga helicopter? Nalipad na ba? Of course, they would say yes. Your question would suggest the answer. Yung bang mga helicopter natin na-deploy, yung ating mga yes, yan puro. Then you make it appear na gumalaw ang armed forces. Kaya kita mo, ininsulto ka ng dalawang general. One is, I think, a Marine officer, and the other one is an Army. Kunalugay, Kita ka na insulto ka. You are not part of the command. Dalawa kasi, for all you know, abogado ka man. Dalawa ang role ko. Nandito ako sa taas. Isang linya ko is the armed forces and the police. Akin yan. Dito, through the DILG kay Secretary Anyo. Yan. Nandang defense is si John Lorenzana. Dito, I am the head of government. Kaya yung mga civilian, yun ang yung mga DSWD, so, pag sinabi mo mag-order, you do not, ano bang gawin? Wala, tapos na yan. It has become a fait accompli question for you. You do not give orders on the day of the battle. You go and tell your soldiers to deploy and to take their position so that when the enemy comes, you'll be able to respond appropriately. That is the analogy. Hindi ka magbigay ng order, where is he? When the storm is raging, wala ka ng order maibigay. Sometimes the lines are cut. Ano pa bang ibigay mong order dyan? It's too late. Kung sabi mo kukunin pa nila yung mga boats dyan sa... They were already near to the nearest military installations. Naka-standby na. So, next time, do not commit the mistake or I'll be forced to insult you. Because you are playing too much pa-beauty ka ng It's not the time for you. During the campaign, paalis na ako. Sige, subukan mo. Matagal na ako maraming sabihin sa iyo, pero reserve ako na lang. When you start your campaign, kung magtakbo ka ng presidente, waswasan kita ng gusto. Well, this is your nightmare. Sabi ko, pagka-incompetent mo, and you were lying, you knew that I was working. You knew that there was a ASEAN summit. Do not tell me that you do not know about these things. You are the vice president of this country. And you cannot pretend that you do not know what was happening sa gobyerno. At timing may typhoon, And so, yun ang nangyari. We have to, akong dito, I was busy with my intervention. ASEAN Summit yun. Usually, we go out of our countries to attend sa Vietnam ngayon, the venue. But it was impossible. By Baguio, may COVID pa. We do it by teleconferencing. Itong ganito. So, next time, count your marbles first before you let it. Yung marbles mo sa kamay mo, huwag mo masyadong ilaro kaagad na hindi ka sigurado. Ikaw, your daughter, sumali na sa politika. Ayun. I would tell the Filipino people right now that you are a dishonest person. You knew that there was a summit conference. You knew that we were working cabinet, except yung DSW nandoon na because they were deployed earlier. Kaya si General Bautista naman. Kaya sinabi ko, kaya ko kinukuha yung mga military kasi nauutusan ko. Lesson 1 for you. Do not plan and give orders on the day of the battle. You just sit where you are. If you are a commander, do not go to the front lines and have yourself shot and die. Magpapahero ka lang yan. But if you want to be, should you become the president, if you want, buy plenty of swimsuits and start to swim when the floods come. If your suggestion, your suggestive question is a poor man's argument. Ako dishonest ka. I do not believe you did know that there was a summit conference. When you lied to the public, you didn't even know. Or you don't even know how to tell, how to present it. Na alam mo, meron tayo, without even mentioning me, do not mind me. I can survive. Do not even remind the people na we are having a conference here and there's a storm. Wala, basta ikaw, kaya gusto kong malaman, ikaw gabi-gabi, lumalakad ka man, anong oras ka umuwi? At kaninong bahay ka tumatagal? Thank you. Now, we will give the people a rundown of dito muna tayo mag-umpisa sa just give us the simple rundown. Huwag mo na do not go into the but if you have the PowerPoints, well, about the response of your departments during the COVID, then we will go to the bakuna, which is what the people are really waiting for. We can begin with Senate Secretary Duque. We have something to report about the typhoon.
Yes, Mr. President. Magandang gabi po sa inyo, Mr. President, Senator Bongo, at kapwa ko miyembro ng kabinete. Meron po akong PowerPoint presentation at muli, dalawa pong bahagi ang akin pong iuulat sa inyo po at sa taong bayan. Unang-una po yung sa Typhoon Ulysses updates at susundan po ng amin usual COVID-19 updates. Next slide. Base sa aming naitala, ang pinagsamang halaga ng pinsala na dulot ng Typhoon Rolly at Ulysses ay nasa 303.9 million. Kasama sa mga napinsala ay isang Center for Health Development, 9 na DOH Hospital and Laboratory Facility, 5 LGU hospitals, 20 rural health units, at 57 barangay health stations. Ang status ng ibang mga health facilities ay kabuuang halaga ng pinsala ay sa kasalukuyan rin ina-assess. Inaantay natin ang balita from other temporary treatment and monitoring facilities o mga isolation and quarantine facilities at iba pang mga pasilidad na hindi pa po nakapagpapadala ng updates gawa ng kawalan ng mobile phone service sa ilang lugar. Kaya naman hindi pa kumpleto ang mga numero dyan po sa atin table na on the screen. Rest assured na patuloy ang amin pakikipag-ugnayan sa kanila. Next, bilang tugon sa isa na naman na napinsalang kalamidad, ang DOH ay nakapaghatid ng humigit kumulang 13 milyon piso halaga ng mga gamot, mga medisina, commodities sa Cagayan Valley Center for Health Development na kung saan ay napakamalubha po ang pagbaha. At ganoon din sa Calabarzon CHD ay a little over 2 million pesos po ang halaga ng atin na ibigay na ayuda at mga 2.1 million naman sa NCR CHD. Patuloy din ang ating pakikipag-ugnayan sa iba pang apektadong Centers for Health Development, ang NDRRMC, ang Response Cluster, at iba pang health partners upang siguruhin may abot natin ang health services at masigurong efficient and coordinated ang atin pong pagtugon sa kalamidad na naranasan po ng mga komunidad, lalo na ang mga lugar na malubhang naapektuhan. Sa paghatid natin ng mga serbisyong pangkalusugan, sinisigurado natin na nasusunod ang minimum public health standards upang masiguro na nakapaghahatid tayo ng kalidad na health services habang iniiwasan ang pagkalat ng COVID-19 in affected areas. So yan lang po patungkol sa health response to the Typhoon Ulysses na nag-overlap po with Typhoon Rolly. So patuloy po muli ang assessment. Para naman po sa update na ginagawa ng DOH para ma-facilitate ang pag-approve ng mga bakuna at iba pang mga gamot laban sa COVID-19, ang DOH through FDA kami po ay nag-propose respectfully na pag-adapt ng Emergency Use Authorization or EUA. At sa bisa ng EUA, tayo ay makakagamit ng medisina, bakuna, and other health technologies through the process of reliance and recognition. Ito po ay facilitated approval sa konteksto ng public health emergencies tulad ng atin kinaharap na pandemya na kinikilala ng World Health Organization. Ang reliance ay tumutukoy sa proseso ng pagtiwala ng ating FDA sa mga evaluations na ginawa sa ibang mga national regulatory authorities sa ibang bansa sa pagkukonsider o pagdidesisyon nito ng mga application naman dito sa ating bayan. Ang recognition naman ay ang routine na acceptance ng FDA ng regulatory decision ng ibang national regulatory authorities or ibang mga trusted institutions. Hindi po basta-basta ang pagbibigay ng EUA sapagkat ito po ay atin ginagamit lamang kapag number 1, may medical health emergency, number 2, may serious or life-threatening disease, number 3, mayroon patunay na ang produkto may be effective to prevent, diagnose, or treat the disease. Pang-apat po, may positive risk-benefit balance, at panghuli, at walang adequate or approved at available na kapalit or alternative. Ang FDA ay mariin na magsasagawa po ng post-marketing surveillance activities at ang EUA maaaring i-revise o i-revoke ng FDA kung kinakailangan upang maprotektahan ang kalusugan. We are respectfully requesting that you consider the issuance of an executive order for FDA to grant an emergency use authorization for the various vaccines that will enter the country and for which applications are to be filed. Para mabilis po ito, it will cut the processing time from 6 months to about 21 days, Mr. President. So it will cut the red tape, and again, that is for your consideration. So yun lang po ang akin report, Mr. President. Thank you very much for the opportunity. And I'm ready to answer questions.
Salamat, Secretary Duque. Now, Del, you want to... Well,
Yes, Mr. President. Kung lang po ito, konti lang po. First, yung ating mga minamanmanan natin ng mga OFWs na umuwi rito, meron ng 310,000 na nakauwi, Mr. President. At tuloy-tuloy pa rin ang uwi nila at the rate of about, I think, 1,500 a day. Yung pong ating mga nasyonal sa Sabah ay meron ulit dumating na 151. Dagdag ito sa 1,986 na dumating na nung isang buwan, total of 2,137. Meron pa hong natitirang 2,863 sa Sabah. Ito naman po sa ating response to the Typhoon Rolly and Ulysses. Nandun pa rin po yung ating mga trupa sa mga lugar na nasalanta ng bagyo sa Bicol, doon sa Cagayan Valley. Ito pong nandito sa Marikina ay medyo humupa na. Ang ginagawa nila dyan, Mr. President, is clearing na ng mga putik na dinala ng bagyo. Yung pong ating dalawang barko na malalaki ay naghahakot ng mga relief goods. Kanya ng umaga po ay umalis yung isang barko natin na punong-puno ng mga goods papuntang Catanduanes. At yung isa naman ay kasalukuyang nagkakarga ng mga dadalhin sa Cagayan. Yung ating isang C-130 ay umiikot. Kanina nagpunta sa Camarines. Ngayong gabi ay magdadala rin siya ng mga relief goods sa Cagayan Valley. So hindi pa po maalis yung mga tropa natin doon. Patuloy pa rin ang kanilang pag-aayuda sa mga tao na saranta. Thank you, Mr. President.
yes, good as any other time, Secretary, to thank the armed forces and the National Police for their untiring work there. I went there, kasama man tayo, ay nakita ko kung ano ang kahirap na trabaho ng mga pulis pati military.
Mr. President, meron pa akong dagdag pala nakalimutan ko. Kami po sa NDRRMC ay nagmungkahi sa Office of the President na i-declare na state of calamity itong buong island ng Luzon sa mga karatig ng mga isla.
Mukhang napirmahan ko na ata.
Sige. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Was it last night? Last night, I think, I signed the proclamation. Secretary Anyo, would you want to say something?
Magandang gabi po, Mr. President. Dadagdagan ko lang po yung ulat ni Secretary Lorenzana. Patuloy po yung pakipag-ugnayan natin sa mga LGUs na sasakupan ng 6 na region at 19 na probinsya. Ito po yung tinamaan ng Typhoon Ulysses. Actually, sila rin po yung tinamaan ng Typhoon Rolly. As of kahapon po ay meron pa tayong more or less mga 200,954 families sa mga evacuation centers. Total of 692,169. Ito po yung mga inulat ng ating mga LGUs. At minomonitor po natin kung nagkaroon po ng outbreak o surge. At magandang balita naman po na as of kanina po ay pina-inspect natin at wala naman pong nagaganap na surge or outbreak sa ating mga evacuation center. Maganda po rin ang pagkaka-observe ng mga minimum health standard protocols. Pero nakita po pa rin namin yung kakulangan ng ating mga evacuation centers. So, kanina po sa aming Senate plenary hearing ay mayroon pong mga magandang pangako po yung ating mga senador sa pangunguna ni Senator Lacson na makapagdagdag ng pondo para po makapagpatayo at ma-repair yung mga evacuation center na nasira nitong Typhoon Ulysses. At sa kabuuan po, ang naging casualty natin as of today po ay 73 dead and 19 missing. Kung ikukumpara po ito sa Bagyong Ondoy, maliit pa rin po ito. Ang Ondoy ay Region 3, Region 4A at saka NCR. Tatlong region po, pero almost 500 po yung namatay doon. Dito po, covering almost the entire Luzon with only 73 casualties. Nakapaganda po tayo. Katulad po nung sinabi ninyo na 3 araw pa po bago dumating ang mga bagyo na yan, nagmi-meeting na po kami sa NDRRMC. At nakadeploy na po yung mga tropa, mga ahensya. In fact po, noong November 30 ng gabi, wala po kaming tulog niyan sapagkat nung lumabas po na nakalubog ang Cagayan, ay tuloy-tuloy po yung pag-ugnayan natin kay Governor, sa IFP, sa PNP, kasi ang naging priority po natin ay mailigtas ang lahat ng stranded na sa ibabaw ng bubong. Tuloy-tuloy po yun. Hanggang sa kinabukasan, nakarating na rin ang mga dagdag na tropa ng Coast Guard, ng AFP at saka PNP at Bureau of Fire Protection. So ito po yung template na ginagawa natin at marami po tayong nasisave na buhay. So pag-iigingin pa po namin yung aming paghahanda para sigurado na ma-attain natin yung zero casualty kapag magaganap ang mga ganitong mga typhoon or disaster. Nagsisimula na rin po kami ng pag-uusap, yung sinasabi natin na kung paano i-manage yung mga dam. Ayun pa po bukas ay may meeting na ang NDRRMC, ang NIA, ang DILG at ibang ahensya, ang Pag-asa, para po aralan natin mabuti kung paano i-release yung mga tubig bago at habang dumarating yung bagyo. So yun lang po, Mr. President.
Thank you. As I have said, I am quite overly satisfied with the performance of the uniformed personnel of government. Now, itong Secretary Lorenzana mentioned about the repair of evacuation centers. Yan nga ang sanang tugunan ng Congress, Bong. Kasi pagka itong ganitong deluge, they tend to go to places for shelter and relief. Alam mo, it is high time that government consider really, of course, in the government units facing the Pacific Ocean, gamit na gamit ito, na we build a strong structure, stronger than a typhoon that would come their way para mapuntahan ng mga tao, and maybe small rooms with many comfort rooms where people can really stay for a while. Alam mo bakit? Pagka hindi natin ito ginawa, pagkatapos ng post-COVID, hopefully, maawa ang Diyos, itong mga tao, they usually repair to the schools and public buildings, thereby creating an aberration in the movement or in the development of the different governmental functions and the education. I assigned only one person to do all of these things, from the selection, appropriation, and everything. But it is also a good thing that Secretary Galvez has partnered with the Secretary of Finance, because this calls for money, and we must have the funding before we embark on the selection. But as I have told you, we will look for a solution. Huwag ko kayong do not despair. Kasi sabi ko nga noon, baka maawa ang Diyos by December, January, meron na tayong makitang relief in sight. So, we have, I was given the option of how to get it, Secretary Galvez is here. Binigay ko sa kanya lahat. Kasi sabi ko, ayaw ko nga yung committee. Only one person whom I can trust, who's honest, and whose integrity is beyond question. Siya na lahat. Ikaw na ang mamili, tapos tignan mo, get the best bargain. So, might as well that we are here. I'd ask Secretary Galvez to tell us. Kasi binabali na ho yung the report of Secretary Anyo and Secretary Delfin Lorenzano would suffice a report to the nation. Anyway, marami namang newspaper pa-publish. It's all the same. It's a rehash of what we have already said. So, okay na yun sa akin yung report. However short, it's still okay. And that would suffice for the moment. I'd like to ask you, Secretary Galvez, to talk about the COVID now. How you intend to the process of selecting the financial modality of how to go about it and everything. Go ahead.
Sir, Mr. President, thank you very much for allowing me to report to the public kung ano po ang ginagawa po natin sa pag-select sa ating mga vaccine. Tuloy-tuloy po yung evaluation po ng ating vaccine of experts at saka ng FDA kung ano po yung tamang solusyon ng pagkukuha ng vaccine. At ang ating pong vaccine of expert ay nirank po yung 17 po ang ating pong possible sources of vaccines sa iba't ibang mga bansa. At out of the 17 po, sir, siyam po yung nasa tinatawag nating phase 3 trial. At sa phase 3 trial po nito, 3 po doon ang magkakaroon po ng trial dito po sa atin this coming December and January. Nagpapasalamat po tayo kay Enrique Rason na meron po rin siya ng binigay na 300,000 doses, ang BDO, at saka po yung ibang mga Lusutan Group, at saka San Miguel Corporation, at saka Go Negosyo. Nakapag-raise na po sila ng more than 1 million and hopefully baka tataas pa yun ng 1 or 2 million doses. Ito po para po sa kanilang mga i-donate po nila yung 80 to 50% of the vaccine at saka yung iba po gagamitin po nila sa kanilang mga poor essential workers po. At no cost po saan po natin. Kung magkakaroon po tayo ng advance procurement po ay by the end of the year, pwede po natin magkaroon po tayo ng signing of the loan agreements. Kaya po ang aming po na recommendation po, Mr. President, next slide please, ay we enter on the advanced market commitment through the multilateral arrangement with World Bank and ADB as our finance manager. At the same time, we have also to have various modes of financing, including private-public tripartite agreement without a cost with the government. So the private sector will finance it by buying directly to the vaccine company, but with the regulation that the DOH will be the one who will decide where the vaccine will be given. And then also, we have recommending the emergency use authority to be issued by FDA via a proposed EO as proposed by Secretary Duquesne. That's all, Mr. President. And hopefully, sir, kung makapag-move po tayo, we can be assured yung 30 million doses to 50 million doses by next year po, sir. Pagka nag-roll out po ang ibang bansa, we can also have our rollout here, sir.
Thank you. So, mga kababayan ko, narinig ninyo si General Galvez. Ito yung pamaraan kung paano makuha. Iba't ibang pamaraan paano makuha natin ang COVID. Yun ang sinasabi ko. Now, may mga arrangement, may mga walang bidding, may bidding, o diretso yung executive order in time of emergencies, diretso na. Whatever it is, I have full faith and trust in the task force and yung tinuro kong siya kasi yan ang implementor, siya na ang bibili, siya na ang mamili, siya na lahat. At well, of course, you have to worry about the procurement. May mga pamaraan kasi na bago ka makabili, yan, yung bidding, yung ganun. But there is also a way of not doing it. If it takes time, then I can go directly and just issue the order to buy and to vaccinate the population. Secretary Galvez, I would like to remind you that we have this commitment that we will start with the poorest of the poor. So, may schedule ka na niyan.
Yes, sir. Ang ano po, sir, natin, sir, based doon sa framework, sir, na sinabit po namin sa inyo po, sir, ng DOH, we will start with the frontliners, and then yung mga poor and vulnerable communities, and then also we will have the soldiers and also the servicemen, and also the essential workers po, sir.
The soldiers include their families.
Yeah.
Kasi for as long as one is not vaccinated, there is contamination in the family. So if you give it to a soldier, give it to the entire family.
We will, sir. We
For
will.
pamilya-pamilya na lang yan. Tapos yung in the matter of identifying the group, kasali si Secretary Duque will also take part in the selection. Basta unahin natin yung mahirap. Then paakyat. Kung tayo, kung aabot pa tayo, kung hindi na tayo aabot, pasensya na lang. But ang usapan kasi, mauna yung talagang kawawa sa buhay. So, they will be the first protected citizens of this country. Mukhang Secretary Roque, I'm waiting for your report.
Well, sir, bumalik po tayo sa Cagayan. Po tayo nag-press briefing kanina. Pinuntahan po natin yung munisipyo ng Alcala kasi yun po yung pinaka-apektado ng pagbaha. At bagamat tama po yung sinabi ni Secretary Anyo na dapat siguro magkaroon ng synchronization sa pagbukas ng Magat Dam, sinabi po nung mayor doon na naging estudyante ko po na ang talagang problema po sa kanila yung Cagayan River, 400 meters wide, pero pagdating po doon sa munisipyo nila, nagkakaroon ng bottleneck dahil 118 meters na lang. So kaya po sila naging pinaka-apektado. Siyempre po umapag yung river dahil daming tubig na bumaba galing sa Ifugao, galing sa Sierra Madre, at lahat nag-converge po dun sa lugar nila. No? Parang ang comparison nga po, ang EDSA ay 6 lanes tapos magiging 2 lanes. No? So yun po yung dahilan. Kaya 25 out of 26 barangays po nila ay lumubog. So binigyan niya po ako ng kopya ng JICA study. Meron na pala akong JICA study noong 1987 pa na nagre-recommend na lawakan yung narrow port ng Cagayan River at ipararating ko po ito kay Secretary Villar bukas.
We would like to help, pero let us understand the problem from the tamang perspective. Actually, the culprit there was the rainfall. How many inches, I really do not know. I have not checked. But sobra-sobra yung tubig. Whether there are logging or mining there, talagang bubuhos yung tubig. Yung kagaya ng sa Cagayan and other places, it was an extraordinary volume of water pouring down from the heaven. Now, itong mga casualties, ito yung nagmamine, nagbubutas kasi yan sila. pag ang bukid, butasan mo, dito marami kayong nagbubutas sa small mining in search for the gold, in pursuit of the gold. Marami kayong butas. Yung tubig, papasok doon sa butas ninyo. Then, it stays there. And kung marami, it loosens, maluluwang yung lupa. Kaya, maglalambot, babagsak. And the problem is, itong mga miners, they have their settlements or their houses or whatever dito sa baba. Just like what happened in Davao. Kung dito kayo sa baba, in Davao, several times, they refuse to learn. Doon pa rin sila. I do not know why, but there must be a reason for that. Doon sila. Pag bagsak ng ulan, puno yung mga butas, loosens the lupa. Pag landslide, doon sila sa baba, madadali. So, yun. Hindi sabihin na yung yung mining lang, o illegal logging. Illegal logging is, alam mo, matagal ko na pinag-aralan yan. Mayor pa ako yung illegal logging. Ang Pilipino kasi, yung average Filipino, they cannot afford a concrete house. So halos lahat dyan sa mga patawag natin at let us use the word as being understood by all. Yung mga squatters, puro kahoy yan. Bibili yan sa, including coconut wood. Ang problema niya nung sa bukid, talaga magpuputol yun ng kahoy. Because ang mga Pilipino, yan lang ang saan man sila magkuha ng simento. Pwede they cut the trees in Canada. O pupunta pa sila doon sa South America o Africa. So kung ano makita nila, nabibili, yung small scale logging, they make money because people are also buying. At karamihan yan, ginagawa ng excuse me, bahay ng mga tao. And the population is increasing, so the needs are also greater every year. Magtatayo ng bahay. And the temptation really to cut the trees in the mountain and bring it to the lower land, really to build houses. Kaya hindi mawala yung mga sawmill. Mahirap yan. I am in a quandary actually of how to solve the problem. Kung sabihin mo na you want to help, magsimento tayo, I don't know if that is really feasible or viable, if you may. Kasi mahal. Itong kahoy lang ng binibili ng mga squatters, pati yung talagang walang titulo at they look for a place, squatting on some others' property. But yung raw materials nila, galing bukid yan. What I'm trying to point out to you is that all of the trees were cut long time ago, mostly by the loggers. Yung nagkaroon ng pera sa logging. Maraming yumaman yan. Doon sila kumuha ng kayamanan nila. Logging. Exportable yan noon sa Amerika, sa Japan. Yun. Yung naubos na yung talagang lumber, yun na yung naiwan. At yun ang kung pag-ano pa, sinasalvage na lang ng mga tao para doon sa mga bahay-bahay nila. So how to prevent that, I really do not know. Unless I can offer a better deal for them, you just have to, even if it's a coconut, may panahon that the cutting of coconut is prohibited. So kawawa yung tao. He cannot, alam mo, ang tao, baski nagaano, however humble he is, gusto talaga magtayo ng bahay para sa pamilya niya. So where do they get the materials? They get the materials from the remaining, tatawag yan, log over. Yung dinaanan na ng laging at noon yung hindi pinutol kasi maliit pa, medyo ngayon malakas na, and they would try to, mahalaga na sa kanila yan. Yan ang, it's all over the Philippines, gano'n ang sitwasyon. So, ang pag-control na lang is really how to build, well, the dams are also not a good alternative kasi at one time you will have to release the water, otherwise a greater damage will be created. Kung mag-collapse ang dam, hindi mo hindi lang, butan dahan-dahan lang. Kung ang dam ang mag-collapse, there's a waterway created upstairs, babagsak yan doon sa mga tao. So that's my thoughts on the matter, really. But despite of its fury, we were able to manage. Hindi naman, I know that it leaves a bad taste in the mouth to say that minimal ang namatay. Pero hindi kagaya ng Undoy. Ngayon, medyo and because we have a better, marami na kasi tayong, we have been buying ang Coast Guard, sige bilhin ng itong mga rubber boats. And they were the ones that were deployed. Sabi nga ni siya yung sa disaster, siya yung chairman, he ordered the deployment of the equipments to save lives 2 days before. Kaya ipahawak ko sa military. Hindi na ako because General Lorenzana knows his business. Pag ngayon na may typhoon coming in, he is already busy giving orders left and right. So ako, hindi na ako kailangan except to place my imprimatur na okay, sige, yan ang gawin natin. And that's about a few words. Kung anong order during the kasagsagan, you do not prepare when the typhoon is already there. The typhoon simply was just too furious for everybody. So kung sabihin mo nasaan si Duterte, well, Leni Robredo knew, I'm sure that there was a summit meeting. For her not to know it, it's a sin for a vice president to be ignorant about what's happening in government. And the only thing that you can say just to reach the media is saan si Duterte. When he knew that I was busy giving my statement of intervention, I delivered about 2 speeches. One for my being the coordinator. Ang Philippines is the coordinator of ASEAN China. And one pa yung para sa ating bayan. Statement for the country. He knew it, I'm sure. Vice President, she cannot pretend ignorance about that. That's why I said she is lying. She was a liar. Gusto ninyong palabas, natutulog. Kung ordinary times, walang emergency, walang typhoon, I told you right in the beginning of my term, I am a night person. My day starts at 2 o'clock in Malacanang. Sabi ko, kasi binabasa ko lahat yung dokumento. Hindi basta-basta yung dumadating sa akin, bulto-bulto yan. even the promotion of the military and the police, isa-isa ko yan kung mayroon ba mga derogatory. Kung meron dyan nakaatas, binabasa ko. Tapos kung hindi naman masyado, I go ahead with the promotion. I promote them in spite of itong mga basta hindi lang mabigat na kasalanan. Ng insubordination, gano'n. Let their commanders do how to impose discipline. So yan ho ang nangyari sa nung bagyo. Nandito po ako, dito, I was delivering the statement for ASEAN as coordinator. Philippines is the coordinator. Then as a statement sa ating bayan. Nung kasagsagan ng hinihintay ko lang, but I told sila na pag lumampas yung bagyo, mag-take off ko. That was it. Nung sabihin mo maglangoy ako doon, alam mo kasi, kami lahat, we are workers of government. Trabahante kami. Alam namin ang trabaho, kaya ang pinasukan na Secretary Duque knows his business, General Galvez, he managed the war in Marawi together with the others. Ang tanong ko nga sa kanila, kung magtanungan lang naman, if we go down to the basics, where were you during the Marawi siege? Wala akong nakitang official doon. Senador o congressman. Except you. Si Secretary Roque went there to, baski na pa paano, in a small way, you identify yourself in solidarity with the people. Yun, hindi yung bagyong gira yun. How many times did they go there? 10 times. Butas pa yung helicopter ko, tinamaan ng bala because I took off during night time. Bago tayo matapos, sinabi ko sa inyo na sasabihin ko yung mga tao na napaalis sa gobyerno o nasuspendedo for various offenses. Ang sa DOTR, si Antonio Heno, Attorney Heno Antonio C. Villanueva, dismissed sa trabaho. Attorney Romel Lloyd Martinez, dismissed by the Department of Transportation. Si Edgardo Catarungan, dismissed by my office upon the recommendation of yung LTO. Si Romeo Buhay, suspendido lang ito ng 1 year. Pero he was involved in fixing activities sa LTO Bacoor District Office, favoring insurance companies and medical service. I will review the records. I think he should be dismissed. Sa Bacoor ito. Jose Jolito T. Mandaya, Office Head sa LTO, Mati, Davao Oriental, dismissed by the Department of Transportation. Si Edita Odilao Rodriguez ng Compostela Valley, that's Davao Oro, dismissed from the service. Mar Jose Maestrado, Department of Transportation, dismissed from the service. Si Jose Graciano Robles, suspended by the Department of Transportation. Again, I will review his case because I think he should also be dismissed. Dito sa Land Transportation Franchising Regulatory Board, si Jean Gunda, dismissed by the Department of Transportation for grave misconduct, receiving personal use of fee gift, bribery to. In other words, itong si Melanie Diaz, suspended for allegedly receiving 200,000 in exchange for a franchise. This is bribery. I am changing the penalty from suspension to dismissal. Manaro Tilabor, dismissed by the Department of Transportation. Attorney Samuel Hardin, I will dismiss him because that is the dumaan na pala ito ng ombudsman. So, let it be. Suspension lang. Edmundo Cabral, dismissed sa Department of Transportation. Gerardo Del Rio, LTFRB, dismissed from the department. Colonel Vladimir Custer S. Kahulugan, Regional Director, LTFRB Region 5. Bribery. Andres Tabunda, falsification, making it appear that persons have participated in an act or proceeding when in fact did not so participate. From the Philippine Aerospace Development Corporation, which used to be under D2, the NCA is transferred to the DND. Commodore Gilbert Riuras, dismissed from the service. Emmanuel Bertusio, Chairperson, OTC. Illegal exaction, hihingi, bribery. Siriaco Bermejo, Office of the Transportation Security, dismissed by the department. Romeo Buhay, preventive suspension lang. Greg Arellano, bakit ganito lang? The charge is they were involved in a massive and illegal conversion of Chinese driver's license. They allegedly processed and converted Chinese driver's license to Philippine driver's license based on spurious documents. They should be dismissed also. His job order personnel, Erwin Sosmisero, Francisco Ranches, Assistant Regional Director, LTO Region 4A. Illegal conversion of licenses. of the Chinese making it appear that it was the Philippines. Joselito Caballero, dismissed by the Ombudsman. Oliver Tudok, suspended by the Ombudsman. So, ito yung drive natin sa anti-graft and corrupt practices. Many more, kasi pending eh. Many more na may mga kaso. Baski na malakad ninyo na suspension lang pagdating dito sa opisina ko, I can reverse any decision pababa except the ombudsman. Kung dito sa akin, pag basta may pera, conversion ganon, dismiss kayo. I will reverse the decision from dismissal to from suspension to dismissal. Yan po ang nangyari sa ating drive, sabi ko, sa corruption. So, kung gusto ninyo, iba sa gobyerno, sige. Do it, and I'll be glad also to accommodate you. Oblige you, rather. I-connect mo yun doon sa ano, bago matapos.
Sir, yung mga estudyante po na loko-loko na ayaw pumasok, dahil nagpo-protesta, di raw sila magsasubmit ng academic requirements hanggang hindi raw natutulungan ng mga biktima ng typhoon. Yun po yung sinasabi nila.
You are taking the cudgels of the poor ahead of your time. That is not your worry, that is the worry of government. Kami, sabi ko, nagtatrabaho kami. Government workers kami. Anong silbi namin dito mag-upo lang kung gumalaw para sa tao? But yung ganon mga, huwag kayong pumasok. I suggest to you, stop schooling until mabakunahan lahat ng Pilipino. You resume your duty. And you wait for another typhoon and see if the help that we extend is enough to your satisfaction. Bantayan na lang ninyo yung mga bagyo na dating at tignan ninyo yung mga nangailangan ng tulong na hindi natulungan. Then you protest again. Stop schooling. That will save money for your parents. Better make use of your time anywhere. See, yung eskwela, UP, fine. Pag hinto kayo ng aral, I will stop the funding. Nandyan yan lang, wala nang ginawa itong kundi mag-recruit ng mga komunista dyan. Tapos nag-aaral kayo, ang gusto ninyong binabira ang gobyerno. Masyado naman nakaswerte kayo. Wag talaga kayong manakot rather. Kasi I will oblige you. Thank you.